Tell me about a time that an animal gave you a unsettling warning. I got this story from a viewer and I still really don't know how to explain it. So just kind of stick with me, okay? She had a home health care case in New Mexico and she was on it for about 2 years. Same patient, same routine, nothing unusual. This patient, though, had a parrot. And when the caregivers would enter the house, the parrot would go, "Hello." And during report, if you mentioned the patient's name, the parrot would go, "You lying, you lying." That wasn't the strange part. Out of nowhere, this woman was diagnosed with stage 3 liver cancer. She had no drinking history, no risk factors, nothing that really made sense about this diagnosis. It just appeared out of nowhere. And after she was diagnosed, the bird started saying something else. At 2:55 after the diagnosis, the bird goes, "They're here again. They're here." She looks around and she gets up and she looks the house and there's no one there. But the bird is staring out of the window. And she notices there is a bright light coming from under the patient's door. She opens up the door. The TV is on an old black and white film, so that could be the light coming from under the door, but it wasn't as bright, but she tried to rationalize it. After a week of this going on, the bird saying, "They're here again, they're here," and the bright light coming from under the door, she finally left the door open before the patient went to bed. And that night, 2:55 a.m. hit, and the bird started again. "They're here again. They're here." She seen an unnaturally bright light coming from the patient's room, so she instantly walked in there. Now, the TV was on a static channel, and it was bright and white, but it wasn't like the bright light that she initially saw. And the patient was sitting straight up in the bed, eyes wide open. And she said, "I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to be healed." And then she lay back down slowly, not collapsing. It was very intentional. A few days later, they got ready to take her back in for her scans to figure out what the plan of care would be. Chemotherapy, radiation, what's next? But when the results came back, everything stopped. The cancer was completely gone. But that wasn't the strangest part. On that scan, it looked like part of her liver had been surgically removed, clean and precise, like a procedure that had been done. But there were no scars, no records of surgery, nothing. It was just gone. And the only warning before any of this showed up was that bird at 2:55 a.m. saying, "They're here again. They're here." So I gotta ask y'all, what do y'all think that parrot was saying? Let me know down in the comments and have your best spooky day. Bye.